Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel, Bachelor Nation News. Fans, the lights were dim in Joan Vassos's lavish Los Angeles apartment, casting a soft glow over the modern furniture, yet none of it could brighten the storm that had been brewing in her heart for months. Fans of the Golden Bachelorette had been speculating non-stop about her relationship status ever since whispers of a shocking split with her longtime partner began circulating. Social media was ablaze with rumors, some supportive, others cruel, but Joan had remained silent. Until now. It started with a simple Instagram Live notification. Within seconds, tens of thousands of fans tuned in, hearts racing, ready for the truth. Joan appeared on screen, her signature golden hair slightly tousled, and her usually sparkling eyes glimmered with unshed tears. There was a quiet gravity in her voice as she began. "Hi, everyone. I've been reading your messages, and I know you've been worried. I've kept this to myself because it's been really hard, but I can't stay silent anymore." She paused, taking a deep breath, her fingers trembling slightly. "Yes, it's true, her partner's name, and we've split." The chat exploded instantly, hearts, crying emojis, and shocked faces flooding the screen. Fans were stunned. Joan, who had always been the picture of strength and optimism on the show, was breaking the news herself for the first time. People see the glamorous side of life, the champagne, the dates, the laughter, but what they don't see are the late nights of tears, the arguments that never seemed to end, and the quiet moments when you wonder if love is enough. Her voice cracked and she wiped at a tear. "This decision wasn't easy. We tried everything to make it work, we really did, but sometimes love alone isn't enough to keep two people together." Joan's confession wasn't just about the split, it was about vulnerability. She revealed the tiny fractures that had grown over time, miscommunications, career pressures, and different visions for the future. "I wanted to be honest with you because I owe you the truth, and I think it's important for everyone watching to know that it's okay to grieve, even if your love story doesn't have the ending you hoped for." Fans sent waves of support in real time. Messages poured in. "Joan, you're so brave. We love you no matter what. Thank you for being real with us." Some even shared their own heartbreak stories, finding solace in her honesty. She smiled softly, a glimmer of hope in her eyes amidst the sorrow. "I'm going to take some time for myself now, to heal and to reflect. And who knows, maybe someday I'll be ready to love again, but for now, I just need to focus on me." Then, as the live came to a close, she whispered, almost to herself, "Thank you for walking this journey with me. Life doesn't always go the way we plan, but love, real love, is still out there, waiting for all of us." As the screen went dark, fans remained stunned but moved. Joan's story had transformed from one of gossip and speculation into a lesson about authenticity, resilience, and the courage to speak the truth even when it hurts. Social media was still buzzing, but the tone had shifted. Admiration replaced curiosity, respect replaced judgment. Joan had shown them the heart behind the smile, and that made all the difference. Hours later, trending hashtags lit up the platform. Hashtag Joan Vassos confession, hashtag heartbreak and healing, hashtag Golden Bachelorette truth. Articles appeared overnight, each echoing the same sentiment. Joan's bravery had touched thousands, proving that even in heartbreak, there is beauty and hope. By morning, Joan sat by her balcony, sipping coffee and watching the city wake up. She felt lighter than she had in months. The pain was still there, yes, but so was a newfound strength, one that her fans would remember long after the tears had dried. Because Joan Vassos didn't just break the news, she broke the silence, and in doing so, she inspired the world to embrace their own truths, however tragic they might be. The evening sun streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows of Joan Vassos's chic Los Angeles apartment. Everything was immaculate, picture perfect, but inside, Joan felt anything but peaceful. For weeks, rumors had swirled online, whispers of a split, speculation about heartbreak, endless "what really happened" posts. Fans were desperate for answers. Joan had stayed silent until tonight. The phone buzzed incessantly with notifications as she took a deep breath and hit Go Live. Within seconds, tens of thousands of viewers flooded in, the screen filled with hearts, crying emojis, and excited chatter. The golden-haired star appeared on camera, wearing a simple sweater, her hair slightly tousled, and her eyes carrying the weight of months of unspoken pain. "Hi, everyone," she began softly. Her voice trembled just enough to let her viewers know this was real. "I've been keeping something private for a while, but I can't anymore. I know you've been wondering, and it's time I speak the truth." A hush fell over the comments. The anticipation was palpable. "Yes, it's true," she continued, swallowing hard. Partner's name, and we've split." Instantly, the chat exploded. Thousands of fans posted in shock, hearts and crying emojis flooding the screen. For a moment, Joan just breathed, letting the silence speak louder than words. "You know you've seen us together on the show, the dates, the laughter, the moments you thought were perfect," she said, her voice catching. "But what you didn't see were the nights full of tears, the arguments we couldn't resolve, the moments we realized we were growing apart." The confession struck a chord. Fans began sharing their own heartbreak stories in the live chat, creating a wave of empathy that lifted Joan slightly amidst her sadness. "We tried everything, therapy, long talks, even taking some time apart," she admitted, wiping at a tear. "We really did. But sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes two people can care deeply for each other, but their paths, they just don't align anymore." She paused, collecting herself before continuing. "I want you to know that this isn't about blame. It's not about failure. It's about honesty, about realizing that holding on when things aren't working doesn't make you stronger. It just makes the pain last longer." Fans flooded her with support. "We love you, Joan. Stay strong, heart. Thank you for being real," crying emoji. "You are brave beyond words, broken heart." The overwhelming love from strangers somehow made the heartbreak a little easier to bear. "And yet," Joan whispered, a fragile smile breaking through, "I still believe in love. I believe in healing, and I believe in starting over when the time is right." The live feed wasn't just an announcement, it was a masterclass in vulnerability. Joan didn't just tell fans about her heartbreak, she shared the raw, unfiltered truth of what it feels like to lose someone you once thought was forever. By the time she ended the live, hashtags were trending across social media. Hashtag Joan Vassos Confession, hashtag Heartbreak and Healing, hashtag Golden Bachelorette Truth. Articles exploded with headlines. Joan Vassos breaks silence on shocking split. Crying emoji. Fans heartbroken. Golden Bachelorette star opens up on love lost. Broken heart. Joan Vassos's emotional confession goes viral. The story wasn't just about a breakup. It was about courage, vulnerability, and the human capacity to heal. Joan had taken a private tragedy and transformed it into a shared moment of connection with fans who had admired her for years. Weeks later, she sat on her balcony, sipping coffee as the city slowly awoke. The heartbreak was still there, yes, but so was a sense of liberation. She had spoken her truth, faced the pain head-on, and emerged stronger. Joan's story became more than a celebrity confession. It was a lesson for anyone watching. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is admit your heartbreak, let yourself grieve, and trust that the next chapter will bring hope. Because Joan Vassos didn't just announce a breakup, she broke the silence, and in doing so, she showed a world of fans that vulnerability is not weakness, and that even in heartbreak, there is strength, there is courage, and there is hope. On, and there she was, Joan Vassos, the Golden Bachelorette, sitting alone in her elegantly lit living room. The silence before she spoke was deafening. For months, fans had speculated about her relationship status, combing through social media posts, interviews, and appearances for any hint of trouble. Rumors had spread like wildfire. Joan and partner's name broke up. They're seeing other people. It's over. But Joan had remained silent. Until tonight. "Hi, everyone," she began, her voice trembling, eyes glistening under the soft glow of her chandelier. I've kept this private for a long time, but I can't anymore. I owe you the truth." A pause, a deep, shaky breath. "Yes, it's true. Partner's name and we've split." The chat exploded instantly. Heart emojis, crying emojis, shocked faces flooding the screen. Thousands were typing at once. Fans were stunned. Joan, the radiant star of Golden Bachelorette, was sharing her heartbreak openly for the very first time. "I know you've seen us together on TV, the laughter, the love, the romantic moments. But what you didn't see were the quiet nights filled with tears, the arguments that never seemed to end, the moments where we wondered if we were still enough for each other," she confessed, her voice breaking. The live feed became more than just an announcement. It was an emotional roller coaster. Fans commented in real time. "Joan, stay strong. We love you. This hurts more than we expected. Thank you for being honest. You're amazing, heart." Joan continued, revealing the cracks that had led to the split, conflicting career paths, differing life goals, and the emotional distance that had slowly grown between them. "We tried everything, therapy, conversations, even taking time apart, but in the end, love alone wasn't enough." She paused again, wiping away tears. The vulnerability was raw, unfiltered, and it struck a chord with fans. Many shared personal heartbreak stories in the chat, creating a wave of empathy and solidarity that Joan hadn't expected. "And yet," she said softly, a small, hopeful smile appearing through the sadness, "I believe in love, I believe in healing, and I believe in starting over, even if it takes time." The camera lingered on her face, a mix of grief and strength, and viewers could feel every emotion. Clips of fan reactions, tweets, and Instagram stories began flooding across social media. "Joan is so brave for speaking her truth," crying emoji, broken heart. Hashtag Joan Vassos confession. "Watching her live and seeing her vulnerability, wow, this is real life," yellow heart. "She just reminded us that heartbreak is human, and that's okay." As the live session ended, Joan thanked everyone who had supported her journey. "I'm going to take time to heal, to reflect, and to focus on myself. But know this, love is still out there, waiting for all of us." By morning, the news had gone viral. Headlines screamed, "Joan Vassos breaks silence on shocking split," crying emoji, "fans heartbroken." "Golden Bachelorette star opens up about love lost," broken heart. Emotional confession. Joan Vassos's tearful revelation has fans in tears. The story wasn't just about a breakup. It was about courage, vulnerability, and authenticity. Joan had transformed a personal tragedy into a shared human experience, reminding her fans that it's okay to be imperfect, to grieve, and to heal. Weeks later, clips of Joan's confession were still circulating online, sparking conversations about love, self-worth, and resilience. Fans had fallen in love with her not just for her charm and glamour, but for her honesty. She had shown them that true strength isn't about hiding heartbreak. It's about facing it, owning it, and sharing it with the world. As Joan sat on her balcony, looking at the city skyline with a steaming cup of coffee in hand, she felt a quiet sense of relief. The heartbreak was still there, yes, but so was hope. The pain had a purpose now, and in sharing her story, she had not only healed a little herself, but also reminded thousands of people that even in life's darkest moments, there is light to be found. Because Joan Vassos didn't just break up, she broke the silence, and in doing so, she inspired a world of fans to embrace their own truths, no matter how
was
painful.
quiet. The city lights glimmered outside Joan Vassos's sleek Los Angeles apartment, but inside, her world felt shattered. For weeks, whispers of a split had swirled across social media. Fans speculated endlessly. Rumors ran rampant. Joan and partner's name broke up. They're done for good. The Golden Bachelorette is heartbroken. Yet Joan remained silent until tonight. Her phone buzzed incessantly as she opened Instagram Live. Tens of thousands of fans flooded in instantly, emojis and messages streaming faster than she could read. Joan appeared on screen, simple in a soft sweater, her hair slightly messy, and eyes glimmering with unshed tears. "Hi, everyone," she began softly. Her voice quivered slightly, revealing the depth of her emotions. "I've stayed quiet because this is really hard to say, but you deserve the truth." She paused. Heartbeats seemed to echo through the screen. "Yes, it's true. Partner's name and we've split." The chat exploded, broken heart, crying faces, flooded with shock, disbelief, and messages of support. Joan sat quietly for a moment, letting the news settle. "I know many of you saw us on the show, laughing, sharing romantic moments, and thought we had the perfect love story. But what you didn't see were the nights filled with tears, the arguments we couldn't resolve, and the growing distance between us," she admitted, her voice catching. The confession was raw, unfiltered, and painfully honest. "We tried everything," she continued. "Therapy, long conversations, even time apart, but love alone wasn't enough. Sometimes two people can care deeply for each other, but still not be right together." Fans flooded the chat with heart emojis, supportive messages, and personal stories. "Joan, we love you. Stay strong. Thank you for being honest. You're braver than anyone I know." She smiled faintly, though tears still lingered. "I want you to know this isn't about blame. It's about truth, and about realizing that holding on when it's not working only prolongs the pain." Joan then reflected on the subtle cracks that had grown over time, misaligned goals, emotional distance, and the pressures of being in the public eye. "It was painful to let go, but it was necessary," she whispered. The live chat continued to flood with encouragement, and hashtags began trending almost instantly. Hashtag Joan Vassos confession, hashtag heartbreak and healing, hashtag Golden Bachelorette truth. Media outlets jumped on the story overnight with headlines screaming, "Joan Vassos breaks silence on heartbreaking split," crying face. "Golden Bachelorette star opens up about love lost," broken heart. Joan Vassos's emotional confession goes viral. Joan leaned back in her chair, staring out at the city skyline. Even though this chapter has ended, I still believe in love. I believe in healing. And someday, I believe in starting over. Weeks later, clips of her confession continued to circulate online. Fans were inspired not just by her heartbreak, but by her courage. Joan had shown that it's okay to grieve, it's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to choose yourself when love no longer aligns. By morning, she sat on her balcony with a steaming cup of coffee. The heartbreak was still there, yes, but so was a sense of relief, of liberation. She had faced her pain, spoken her truth, and connected with her fans in a way that transcended gossip. Joan's story became more than a breakup. It became a lesson in authenticity, resilience, and hope. Even in heartbreak, she reminded everyone watching that strength isn't about hiding tears, it's about embracing them, learning from them, and moving forward with courage. And as the sun rose over the city, Joan whispered to herself, "Life doesn't always go as planned, but love and hope are still out there." Because Joan Vassos didn't just announce a split, she broke the silence, touched thousands of hearts, and reminded the world that even in tragedy, there is beauty, truth, and hope.